Okay, the Parachi of Devorah. Learning of how to acquire and how to thank you. How to do Malchus. How to do Malchus. Doing Malchus means. You sure you're too far away? Doing Malchus means taking all of the Bria and all the components of the Bria, the entire architecture of the Bria, and bringing it down to this earth, this world that we live in order to make this world the Malchus Hashem. By the way, we're talking about nothing less than what to do with this world. What are we doing with this world? We're here. Most of us just trying to get through it. Try to get through it. You're on it, make enough money, be happy. It's create future generations, maybe. What's the whole tachlis of the whole thing? And the whole tachlis is Malchus. We're trying to make the world a better place. We're supposed to leave our mark and make the world a better place. And the Babetz Abadami Beridati El Shachas, we were learning last night. Babetz Abadami Beridati El Shachas. What good am I doing if I die? As long as I'm alive, at least I have this ability to make the world better. What does it mean to make the world better? To make Malchus in the world. The ultimate perfection of the world comes through Mashiach. And Mashiach is bringing the Malchus Hashem, not his Malchus, but the Malchus Hashem into this world. So that's the whole thing.
For what purpose? Sorry.
For what purpose? Sorry. Because this is what Hashem's Ratzon is. Hashem's Ratzon, the reason why Hashem created the world is that he should have a Malchus here. So being that Hashem wants a Malchus here, our purpose is to make a Malchus. It's a good thing.
So our purpose is to do Ratzon Hashem. It's not Malchus.
Ratzon Hashem is we should make Malchus.
Just trying to understand.
Ratzon Hashem. It's more than it's deeper than Ratzon Hashem. It's Kavanas Habriya. It's the whole Kavanah of the Bria. What's the point? I was thinking just a silly mushal, but I was thinking about it it's like my wife brought home a cell phone for America yesterday, so I'm trying to get it trying to figure out how to put the SIM card in. It's very complicated. If there's nobody under the age of 25 around, it's completely lost on this thing, Google it. But at the end, you can have this machshir that has so many features and can do so many things. But if there's no klita, there's no klita. Nothing. Its whole point is that it's a point of attraction for the klita. So it's nothing. I mean, you can have the new iPhone 6s introduced yesterday. But the garnish. If what's coming from up doesn't hit down, there's a tachlis, there's a kavanas habriya. The kavanas habriya is that all of the architecture that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put into the bria is that it should all land here in this world, and that's the kavanas habriya. So it's deeper than Ratzon Hashem. There's no other reason for the bria. You could ask a question: what do we need Jupiter for? I don't know the answer to that, but I do know why we need Earth, or at least the world at large, because that's the kavanas habriya that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to spread his Malchus, Ein Melech below Am. Word Yam. So the whole thing is to make Malchus. But here he gets pretty detail oriented. Oid Zahirus Harbeit Tzarech. Do you see the place here? You follow? Oid Zahirus Harbeit Tzarech Likach Ha'adam La'atzmai. The person has to be very careful. Likach Ha'adam La'atzmai. That means that when he takes upon himself, a person must take upon himself Shetiya Shechina Debeka Imoi, that he should be a carrier. You need to be a carrier of the Shechina. That wherever I go, this is just before we even go further, everywhere I'm walking, everywhere I'm going, everybody I'm meeting, I'm a carrier of the Shechina. That's who we're supposed to be. So is the other person that we're meeting, but particularly Jews. Am Echad. Am Mika Amcha Yisrael. That's the Amcha Yisrael, is that we're a Merkava for the Shechina. So how do you become, what does it mean a Merkava for the Shechina? I don't want to get, Merkava for the Shechina, simple shot is that everywhere I am, I'm doing something which is taking all of the Midas Hashem and bringing them into this world. That's what a tzaddik does. A tzaddik travels, a tzaddik goes. I mean, tzaddik. You can all be tzaddikim, and you're not just spreading a light, as it says, but you're actually creating it. I want to say this mashal. It's only a mashal because I don't understand like that's and that, but it's all about like if all of these mitos don't hit ground, so then you haven't closed the circuit. So not only do you have a world without klita, but you have something even worse than that, which we learned about on Sunday, which is Shechina begalusa. In other words, there's this disconnect.
Short circuit.
The short circuit, mamash. There's like disconnect between the Shechina in Kabbalistic language, the Shechina ilah and the Shechina tata, Kabbalistic language. But we don't. The whole purpose of the bria. I mean, can you imagine kiviyachol tzar is not working. Like you create this. Again, I'm saying with my muscle, forgive me, but you create this whole infrastructure of Wi-Fi and cell, all the different waves that are in the air, and then there's no machshir to bring it into this world. So there's this disconnect. So it's all about creating the connection. So I don't know, like you walk into a store, how do you create the connection? How do you make it that the Shechina is no longer begolus? So it's really seems like really very simple, even though it's a highfalutin idea. It's very simple, like by smiling, maybe, by being honest, all the things that the Torah says, not having two sets of weights and measures.
That's why Hashem.
Even va'even.
Why Hashem created Adam on the sixth day, because the Vav is the connection.
Okay. So, but I'm saying it's all about bringing the Shechina into this world. So if there's a good transaction, let's say a good business transaction between us, okay. So now I've taken the Spheros, I've taken Chesed, Words Tiferes, I've taken the Torah, all the stuff that's come from Milamala, Lamata, and I'm bringing it mamish down to a place of Halacha Lamaisa. Halacha Lamaisa is, now the world becomes more Shechinadik than it was a minute before.
Okay. I'm having trouble understanding whether I understand we have to get clean. I understand we have to do our ma'asim, so we bring our Kodesh Baruch Hu into this world.
Amen.
But once we brought a Kodesh Baruch Hu into this world, where does perfecting the world come in? Where does our tafkid of perfecting?
Meaning we're the tzinor. Like we're the tzinor. I don't want to mixed metaphors are not good. Because it's not a tzinor. It's a chashmal in lashon of the Navi. It's a chashmal, meaning you're closing a circuit. So perfecting the world is like this. Here's all this energy. It's coming into this world, and it comes into the kli, the appliance, if you will, of this world. And now turn the lights on. So now the world becomes Shechinadik. So you can't do it if you're not a kli. Like you can't get, if you're a kli, then you walk around like you're like a washing machine. But you're a kli. But if hagufa, if that doesn't wash any clothes, if you're a light that doesn't give off any light, so mahoil chachamim b'takanto.
Because if there's no constant power, or like if the lights
Right.
switch off, then it doesn't.
Right.
We have to keep. So we have to continue.
That's why the Merkava is a good.
Right. Well, we should be so happy for electricity because it explains so many things. I know that, like, if you read the Zohar, Rosh Hashanah had such a difficult time explaining. I mean, to me, a difficult time understanding, like, what is all of this? But we understand the continuity. We understand the continuity.
Keep going.
When I was just go to the bushel for a second, but when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, so I worked as an electrician. Ben Azmana, that's what I did. I worked as an electrician. So remember the fellow, I'm an electrician. That's you need anything? I'm an electrician.
Zap.
What?
Zap.
There goes your house. But the point is that I remember like I was trained by this like master electrician, right? So before he took me as an apprentice. So like the tools, I was like fascinated by all these tools. This was before there were sort of electronic devices and all kinds of things. Just like a belt full of tools, hammer, this, that, all kinds of things in the tool belt. Like really, I felt like Batman, with these tools. So he said to me, "What's the most important tool?" I remember the lesson. He didn't say that. He wasn't that kind of guy. What's the most important tool? So he pulls out the flashlight. He says, "It's not a flashlight. It's a continuity tester." So a continuity tester means that, this is a flash. Do you ever see these? It's a flashlight, yellow flashlight, right? And you plug in plug into the back of it, and the flashlight doesn't go on. But if you'll touch these two wires, it will go on because now you've closed the circuit. So now you you go from this place to this place in the house. If the light goes on, it means the wire is connected. So that's a continuity tester. Today it goes with the arrows and meters. And how much electricity is going to go? Something continuity tester. He said, without this, nothing means anything, because the whole idea here is to make sure there's no short, to make sure there's nothing which is stopping the continuity. You can have the best things in the world, plugs in the world, everything, but it has to get makom aleph lamakom beis. That's where it has to go. And the only way to know that is with this continuity tester. You take it two sides of the house. You have continuity. What we're talking about here is the bringing, and I'm giving this to structure because it gets kind of like. The whole idea is to take all of this Shechina and bring it into this world so that it's really here and the world goes on. So now he says like this: Hine ha'adam ba'od shelo nase isha. Okay. If a man without a wife, pshita she'eni mo Shechina klal. No Shechina. I mean, what's the ki ikar Shechina la'adam mitzad hanekeva va'omed ikar Shechina mitzad hanekeva. You understand that the nekeva completes the circuit because the nekeva is the makabel kilo of the entire kol habriya kula, coming derech the circuit of the husband. This is the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu wired the world. If it's not this way, Eini Mashchina Klal. It all comes to at the end of the Bria is the Adam. Lo toiv lo Adam liyos levadai. Hashem said so. This is not happening. So the Isha. The Isha is the Makabel. It's like Aim Kol Chai. That's Mother Earth. Aim Kol Chai. That's where everything is going to come. Lamaisa is with the Isha. Now he doesn't mean this kabbalistically or figuratively. He means literally. Isha. Upshuta Isha. Ki ikar Shechina la'adam nekeva. Ikar Shechina la'adam mitzad hanekeva. Va'adam oimed bin shtei hanekevos.
Something.
This is a game changer. Ha'adam oimed ben shtei hanekevos. Men are sandwiched. We'll do the words. Understand that I leave it for years and years of Amelis, but these are the words. A man, Ish. Everybody knows Ish, Isha, Shem Hashem. You take the Yud and the Hey. Everybody knows all the Sheva Brachos Torah. But here's the Omek HaDavar. That an Ish is standing between the Shechina Ilah, which is called Nekeva, the Makabel of the entire Eser Spheres, or 9 spheres. So that's there. And now comes the Ish to be Mechaber, that Shechina Ilah, to the Shechina Tata, meaning the world. Adam Omei bin Shtei Nekevas, Nekeva Tachtoina Gashmis. Not talking about the Beis Hamikdash. I mean, we are talking about the Beis Hamikdash. That's also B'chinas Nekeva. But we're talking about, Nekeva also. It's like the, halachas for Rosh Hashanah. Like the famous thing that you're not supposed to eat egos on Rosh Hashanah because it's gematria chet. So like I think the Ger Rebbe, the Beis Yisrael, said, he says, we have to remember the chet is also gematria chet. It's not just chet is also gematria chet. So like there's all the Kabbalistic ideas of nekeva, nukva. The whole bria is full of duch, zachar, nekeva, electricity. But then there's nekeva mamash. So nekeva tachtoina gashmis. Shechina tell us mimenu she'er ksus v'ayna. So the way the world is designed, the way the world is designed, there has to be a connection between the Shechina and the world. And the way that Shechina happens is the way that circuit works is it goes from Ish to Isha, all with the proper kavanah. When it goes from Ish to Isha, so now you have like Esther Karka Olam, right? Mother Earth. Now you've actually brought She'er Ksus V'Oina. This, by the way, is Chiyuv Deraisa. It's not just it says in the Ksuva. It's Chiyuv Deraisa. She'er Ksusa V'Oina Sa'aloi Yigra. Sigra? What's also? Yigra. It's Chiyuv Deraisa. Share means what? Share, Ksus, V'Oina. We should know this. Chiyuv Deraisa, if you're married. Share is Mazoinus. Ksus is clothing. And Oina is intimacy. So those are 3 things which a Baal has to give to Chiyuv, to give to her wife. You have a Chiyuv. Share, Ksus, V'Oina. This, what's happening there is, the Ramak is going to say, Share, Ksus, V'Oina is Chesed, Din, and Rachamim. Share, Ksus, V'Oina. This is how you're bringing Chesed into the world. This is how you're bringing Din into the world. This is how you're bringing Rachamim into the world. It's hard to, we have to figure out, upon us to figure out why Share is Chesed and Ksus is Din and Oina is Rachamim. But if Azoivite, we know that Chesed is a noising and Devorah, which is Din, is a Makabel, and then Rachamim is when you have a mixture of Din and mercy. That mercy means even though the Din is like this, I can be Noitil L'tzad Chesed, which is like that, and that's that recipe, which Chesed and Devorah, which come out in Tiferes. So Sher Ksus V'Oina, extremely important. It's not just like you have now taken upon yourself an obligation to feed your wife. It's the whole bria. The whole bria is, if a person's not doing this, you're not makayim your tachlis in the bria. So you have to wonder. I'm not arguing with Gedolim ever. But you have to wonder how the hipuch sudot over here, like that the wives are supporting their husbands. I don't know. I Kabbalistically, I don't, because I was at Lakewood, so it's like an interesting. I was going to Shachar. It's like an interesting thing to see. Like I'm watching, like on the stoop on the steps before the house, like is standing a man holding his kids around, waving goodbye to his wife's walking away with a briefcase and had a business suit. Like it was.
I live there, I know.
Yeah. No, it's like, so, okay, learning Torah, I'm not, but I'm just learning Torah. I guess you have to say they're alumnus, that how is he supporting his wife? The pshat is that Masha kana Isha, kana Bala. So whatever she does, he owns. Now he buys her a dress, so he's doing sis. But the derech of the Bria, see, one of the problems that happened in Gan Eden is that she gave him the apple.
Right.
That's one of the things that was wrong. Like everything, there was a hipuch here. So, so probably on some level, like everybody should be makabel. I'm just like we're living in a time which is, Eis Lasis Lashem Hefer Teresecha. The Torah was getting lost. The Gedolim understood that we got to make all kinds of changes. But I'm saying the Seder Habriya is that it goes milamala lamata, and milamala lamata. Once you switch that around, who knows you have to know like if you're an electrician, you have to know what you're doing. You must know what you're doing. You can't just so we can all well assume that the Gedolim knew what they were doing when they switched the roles of husband and wife. But that being said, what we're learning in Makar HaDavar is that it has to go the way the circuit goes is that the ish is the noisein and the isha is the makabel, and the ish deeper than that is taking from the Shechina ilah and giving and creating Shechina tato. So if he's not machaber between I'll be with him. If he's not machaber between Shechina l'Shechina, so then the world is not going to work correctly. And I'll tell you what that means, and the reason why I'm saying this is it scares me a little bit, because then you don't necessarily have the bracha in the house that comes with the hashras hashchina in the house. So, for instance, like this was very important. Yitzchak brought Rivka la'oyal Sarah. And when he did that, Rashi tells us in the name of Chazal, so all of a sudden the lights went out. The ner was daluk Erev Shabbos. Everything started. There was bracha mitzuya in the lechem. There was bracha mitzuya, the Shechina Shayra. What it means is that until Yitzchak brought Rivka into the oil, the circuit wasn't complete. And the circuit was complete with Avraham and Sarah. And we need to understand what happened. But the circuit was complete by Avraham and Sarah, and the lights went out until Yitzchak fixed it with Rivka. Like we need to understand that this was the Seder Habriya, and that actually, that's why my mashal is a good mashal. The lights went out, the candle burned out. So, the Gemara says that, based on Chumash, that when we were Oila Regel to Yerushalayim, so the Kohanim would move away the Parechas, and we would see the Ner Tamid. We would see the Ner Tamid. Ve'edus li Yisrael shashchina shari. This was an edus who shashchina shari Yisrael. When people came to be Oila Regel in Yerushalayim, they wanted to see whether the system is working or not. So what did the Kohen show him? He showed him the Ner Tamid. That's what he showed him. Ner Tamid. The Ner Tamid is a raya that's your little flashlight. That's the continuity tester. It means that there's a Beis HaMikdash, there's an Ner. This is, by the way, the secret to like even Hanukkah, that when the Yevanim put out the lights. So that means, doesn't mean that they put out the lights. That means that the Shechina wasn't Shari B'Yisrael. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu did the Nes of Hanukkah, and the Nes of the Shemen, so that was just the same Nes that had taken place with the Ner Maravi for generations. It was the same Nes, but it was a Raya, the Chashmonaim, what they did, this is a win a war, like, Tzahal, what they did was they brought the Shechina back to Klal Yisrael. So, okay. Like that was an Eidusu, Shechina Shari B'Yisrael, and that took place until the Charbon Bayesheni, almost. So there was a. It's a good mashal, and that's the same ner. That was the same ner that was rekindled or reignited, maybe even automatically, when Yitzchak brought Rivka into the oil. And it's the same ner that was there. Avram was all. That was the Beis HaMikdash. Mishkan, we said in Kinos, right? Mishkan shasisa le'esanei haaretz. Mishkan that you made for Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. That was the oil. Ner Dolok, Ner of Shabbos, Ler of Shabbos. There was a cloud, Anon, Shari ala oil. Lechem Aponim. There was a Beis Hamikdash. When there's Lechem Aponim in the Beis Hamikdash, and all this is so, I mean, if you start getting into the details, it's just wonderful. There's Lechem Aponim in the Beis Hamikdash. This gives bracha to the whole Klal Yisrael. Why does it give bracha to the whole Klal Yisrael? Because the Lechem Aponim means that this is where the Shechina hit ground. And when the Shechina hit ground, so now we have bracha. So the fact that and this lechem didn't get stale, so because it was full of bracha. The fact that bread gets stale is all part of the klola of it's like a funny thing. Why should bread get stale? But the pshat is that it has to be that the lechem apanim was always fresh. It's always new. That's the bracha. So and all of this was started with Adam and Chava. So getting back to the Isha. The Beis Hamikdash is a form of nukva, but chet is also gematria chet, and isha is also a form of isha. So isha is a form of isha. So Adam made ben shtei nekevas tachtoina gashmis shino telas mimenu she'er ksus v'oina. V'ashchina oimedes alav levarchoi bekulam, and then there's the Shechina ilah, which levarchoi bekulam she yitain v'yachzer v'yitain le'eshes brisoi. Now you see, if a person, God forbid, sows foreign seeds, strange seed. So then, just think about all of these halachas. But let's say, God forbid, a zachar has an affair. Boom, you messed up the whole bracha. Zera levatola, messed up the whole bracha. All of these things is all about a bris. Shabbos is a bris. Bris Milah is a bris. Whenever you find a bris, this is the idea. The idea of a bris is you're bringing it into this world in a holy and kosher and proper way, and this brings bracha as opposed to Sila Kashchina, which brings klala. So it's all about.
And that's Malchus, and when we have to give Malchus back, so that's Vishinantam Levanecha. Teach your children.
But that's coming from down.
Coming
right.
from down here.
You see, if a woman would, I'm not judging anybody, I'm speaking like in big klolim here, but a woman would say I'm busy with my profession, I don't want to have a child. So, I mean, what's the real? I mean, I understand, I understand, but what's the real issue here? The way the bria is set up, the way the bria is set up is that you're meant to be bringing neshamos from a makam gavoa to this world. So okay. But if you don't, this is like the bracha of the isha. Males can't do this in a full form. Actually, bring a neshama into this world. That's the ultimate
miracle.
Not just a miracle, the ultimate bracha. Not just a bracha, miracle, however you want to look at it. But that means that boom, your circuit is complete. So that's what's
It's the wrong use of the kli.
right. That's the right use of the kli. You mean if you don't, right? It's. I presume it's not politically correct to say, but when you start talking about role reversals, at least from Kabbalistic point of view, like when the zachar becomes a nekeva, the nekeva becomes a zachar, or God forbid, like a gay relationship or something like that. Like it messes up the entire bracha of the bria. It just messes up the entire.
What will be the concept of androgynous?
Of what?
From Kabbalistic point of view, androgynous what will be the?
Androgynous is a very holy thing. Zachar and nekeva all in one.
What's the kli? What's the?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like Adam Zeichet to bring the Shechina, but if you are, yeah.
A woman can't bring the Shechina to the world, no matter what she does, no matter how many mitzvahs she does, she can't bring the Shechina to the world. She's living in the Kabbal, she can't bring the Shechina.
That's correct.
All this, a woman should be
by being mitzvah with her husband.
She's a cleave. She can't bring the Shechina to the world.
I saw like such an interesting thing. The Gemara says, Ishak Sheira, Ishak Sheira Oyser Ritzayin Balo. It's Loshen of Chazal. Ishak Sheira Oyser Ritzayin Balo. So Okay, we all think like, okay, you better listen to me. But Ishak Sheira Oiser Ritzayin Bala is the pshat that what's this funny lashon Sheira? Where do we find like a lashon kosher? Kosher really means like muksher l'kabel tuma, muksher l'kabel tyra. Sheira is Oiser Ritzayin Bala is what's going on over here is not like this is how I like my coffee. What's going on over there is Ishak Sheira. That to be the proper kli, that doesn't mean a kli could have huge power. It could be more powerful than ish. We're not talking about who's more important here. We're not talking about who's one's bina, one's chachma. I don't know what's more important basically. But it's. But this is the shot like the Gemara says. Amar Rabbi Yossi, la'ilam laikarasi le'beisi le'ishti beisi. Like you had a Hasidim, was macht dein Stub? Stieb. Yeah, it was like it sounded like you're not allowed to say the word Isha. But, it's ridiculous. The pshat is Isha comes from that Gemara. Ishti loikarazi ishti beisi means that this is the total makabel of the Shechina, like the oil of Sarah and the oil of Rivka. And Rachel Leah. This is and there's such sidus in the fact, that Ruvain was Mavalbil. It's like how it's all about how's the Shechina going to come to the after Rachel died.
The others were childless, even though but
For a while.
For what, right? So I'm not quite sure there was anything. Once the bracha didn't come.
No. Because the pshat is that until they had children, so they were makabel. And once they had children, so then that became the seif hakabbalah. So they had to be barren for X amount of years in order to bring the bracha.
Build up the electrical charge.
Yeah. Look, I'm not. I'm not pretending to understand how the zikim work in Shemayim. But I am saying that like as an end user, like we can understand what we can understand, right? And this is the way the thing is wired over here. So let's just finish the paragraph. Adam made ben shtei nekevos, nekeva tachtoina gashmish. Tells mimenu sherek susvaina. This sherek susvaina is bringing from the top to the bottom. Bashchina says the importance of that. Bashchina I medas halav levarachai bekulam sheyitain v'yachzer v'yitain. So sheyitain v'yachzer v'yitain la'eshes brisa ki inyan atiferes shu'ai made ben shtei anekevos. Ima ilah la'ashpia like kol atzarech v'ima tata l'kabel mimenu sherek susvaina, which is chesed din v'rachamim kenoida, as is well known. And if you don't fulfill this role, then you're not getting the Shechina. So the tachlis, how do you get the Shechina? The Zohar says the Zohar is marich in this. May I read to you a little bit? I read from the Hebrew, not from the Aramaic, and the Moshe Midrash. You see, the fact that if the Zohar is talking about is that if you're baderech, which was only the derech for men, not for women, in the olden days. Parnas, the man was read the H's Chayil. That's my father, Ol Shalom. He always tells me that his mother, my grandmother, I never met her, was like a big tzedek as machmasarich and tzedakah, and so I was asked to did she cover her hair when she went out of the house? So he's thinking. He says, I can never remember her going out of the house. Where'd she go? Never went out of the house. I still don't know the answer. Where's the house? Chasmasisha bansa bina besa. The bias. is like a lashon of bas. A bas is short for benes, right? Like the word, it should be benes. Hashem had rachmanos on us, so he dropped the nun. Too hard to say, but we say in plural, banot. Right, so and it's all a lashon of binyan. It's all a lashon of binyan. So when Rabbi Yossi said that like Rasi liishti ishi el ishti basi, it's binyan, it's a lashon of bona, bonisi, and it's like the oil Sarah and the oil Rivka. That's that's the way it works. So you see that Yitzchak had to bring Rivka into the oil. It's not like, walking by, hey, I got a cool piece of real estate here. It had to bring her into the oil in order for the lights to go on. Literally, the lights went on. So when you're away from your wife, traveling on the derech, you have to say tefillas haderech, because now you don't have the Shechina. If you don't have the Shechina, you're b'sakana. Drachim b'cheskes sakana. So the sakana, maforshim desire. That's the pshat and tefillas haderech.
So you wouldn't say tefillas haderech if you're with your wife. You wouldn't say tefillas haderech if you travel with your wife.
Right. This was not usually. All the stories, all the midrashim about the melech all the year. Never has the malch. Where's the malch?
Right.
It's you go out of the house, but in a chanami. Look, all the shilos, like your shlayim to Beit Shemesh, you say tefillas there. I mean, it's kedai a little bit to understand there's halachas, there's mishabur, but there's kedai to understand the omek hadavar. Shem Bar Yochai says. So I just wanted to read you the names. Kol zman she'adam misakev baderech tzarich lishmar me'esav shelo yechte kedei shehischabrus hashchina lo tisparish mimeno ha'yidei shetirah bo ervas davar. That's the makom sakana of siluk hashchina baderech. All of a sudden baderech is the makom of Esav. Yaakov ish ohalim, right? Ohalim. Yishar pogum v'chaser b'loy zachar nekeva ka'afilu b'yoyz ha'adam b'ir b'beisa k'sheyishtayim ha'yitzarech lishmar atzmi shleiachta k'dei sha'ashchina lo tisdalech min ha'bayis kol shkem baderech. This is the Hebrew translation. Kishezivu ka'elyon she ha'ashchina miskasheres himai v'vadai shetzarech lishmar atzmi shelo yechta. So you're in danger. Gam she'ashchina shemeres oisei v'derech ve'ino nifredes meno ad she'achzer lebeisei l'chein vadei shetzarech lishmar atzmai. So the tefillas haderech is a way of keeping the Shechina with you. And then there's a din of chayiv adam when a person's yotzei l'derech, and when you come back min haderech, there's a chiyavoina. So what's happening is that the yisachtus hashchina, Shabbos is a time of if you read I once read it here for you, the Azamer B'Shvachim Zmiris, it's all about the Zachtus of the Shechina. Okay, actually, I'm not going to read this whole Zohar to you, but if you look, it's on Bereishis Daf Nun Amud Aleph and the Zohar. To read the whole thing, but okay. So Tachlis Hadavar is like this. The Tachlis Hadavar is that what we need to understand, and I think this is the key point over here, that the Seder Hadvarim is that that as men, our Tachlis is to be givers, and to give mostly to our wives, Sher Ksus V'Aina, to give to our children. So it's the that's the tachlis, because the tachlis is to take it from the high place and bring it to a low place. The tachlis of the isha is not just to be makabel, but to be makabel and to produce. But what she's producing is the ultimate, closing a circuit. What's the word circuit mean? It's a circle. Circuit. The word circuit means circle. You're actually closing the circuit. Boom. that bracha goes to Shemaim, comes in neshama. With the neshama, ba pitoi b'piv. With the neshama comes all kinds of brachas. B'nishmasim chadatin, kedein sherusa, tzloisa, chedvasa. What we're talking about here is this an opportunity for Ish V'Isha to close the circuit and to create bracha, not just bracha in your own house, but bracha all around you. If there's chas v'sholom a chasarn in shalom bayis, it's extremely important to fix because it's a short circuit. So like you have to keep this going. But the key thing is that I think this is the key thing, that we need to be givers, not takers. Like I have to always ask myself. I think everybody should ask themselves, like, am I a giver or am I a taker? So, women, this is men. The Indian of Devorah is, you don't want to blow the fuse here. Like the Indian of Devorah is to be a giver. So, like, I'm giving to my community, I'm giving to my country, I'm giving to my wife, I'm giving to my children, I'm giving to my community, to my neighborhood, to my, like you have to, like this. It's not just like. Or like a tachlis of noising. It's a tachlis of noising, and when one does a tachlis of noising, and you find somebody to be makabel, it's like if somebody has Torah, they don't teach the Torah. Chaval, right? It's not just chaval. Like it's the person will go crazy. Yosher Mimasha Ha'egel writes Elenek Ha'par writes Lohanik. Like this, I want to close the circuit. I want to bring Torah into the world. I want to bring bracha into the world. I want to bring Shechina into the world. So I think the takeaway here is, shalom bayis, but to take an understanding how the world works, but the architecture of the world. But the takeaway is a very simple thing. You have to make sure that we're always giving, every day, every minute. Like giving. What am I giving? Because once you stop to take, the whole relationship in the house from mizonos, from sheret to ksus ta'inu, all the way through has to be a relationship of giving. So the minute we become like sort of egoistic and we start saying, well, I'm not getting, like I'm not getting, what am I getting here? It's defying the bracha of the bria. It's a masochist, but I'm just saying it's defying. There's a derech of the bria. If we would only understand the derech of the bria, our expectations and our yearnings would be to give, not to take. But would you rather give tzedakah or get tzedakah?
Definitely give.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to take tzedakah? Somebody there's something wrong with them. Like you want to be able to give the tzedakah because by nature we're noisnim. If you're mitzdarech el abriyos, so now you freaked out the whole bria. So it happens. It can happen, but that's a sad thing. That's a mess up in the bria. Okay.
The Torah has full sense of tzedakah. We have to give people that. Have to give people that to receive. So,
right. Hakadosh Baruch Hu made on you especially. That's what that says.
So, but those individual anim, what's their?
You have to also give. Even if you're a taker, you have no choice. You're a taker. You have to make sure you're giving. Not only has to give meiser from this.
Yes, and then